I'm going to show you an example of the incremental steps that a student went through in understanding how to draw this three-dimensional object. It's a ball peen hammer, and you can see that this is how he starts, looking at the outline really, and then through guidance and coaching, still looking at the outline, going further, and then you can see that the student is now looking at the curves on the form. Here again, looking at the roundness of the shape. Continuing with that, trying to form this three-dimensional object onto a two-dimensional surface. He's starting to get much better at it if we look at the very first few examples where he's only really exploring the outline. Now his marks on the paper are beginning to describe the form, the three-dimensional form of the object. At this point, I encourage the student to do a very quick rendition, and there are reasons for that, but we'll just move on to show you how the drawing progresses and how it's illustrative of his understanding of the three-dimensionality of this object. You can see now a really good understanding of the front of the ball peen hammer, not such a good understanding in the middle, and still now a good understanding of the front of the ball peen hammer and the back, but still not such a good understanding of the middle. And finally, in this series of images, of drawings, we can see how he's now really getting to grips with the three-dimensional form of the hammer. I'll just zoom out so you can try and get a view again, although you can always look at this video again, but I'll just pan across, again looking at his development from really just understanding the outline, understanding the object as an outline which doesn't really exist. It is a form, it's a rounded, a three-dimensional structure. And through various instructions which I give based on what I see that the student needs to learn at a given point, he arrives, in this case he, arrives at a good understanding of how to observe a three-dimensional object and render it on a two-dimensional surface. This being the hammer, where you can put it out of focus, but you can still see its three-dimensionality. And this is what the student will observe through touch and sight, but mainly through touch actually, because we gather a lot of information, a lot of data from this object through a sense of touch.